Welcome to Create, Build, Manage, the Entrepreneur's Toolbox.
Welcome to Create, Build, Manage on BizTV. I'm Kelli Phillips. I'm joined today by Matt and Raul from The Taco Spot. It's a growing chain of restaurants to learn about the ups and downs of the food industry and the exciting future for The Taco Spot. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Create, Build, Manage. Today's guests are key figures at The Taco Spot. It's a popular franchise that started in Chandler, Arizona. Raul Martinez is the Marketing and Business Development Director, and Matt Surma is COO Director of Operations and Franchise Development. Welcome them to the set today. Hi guys, how are y'all?
Good, how are you?
Good. So I want to hear first about both of your backgrounds and how you both got into Taco Spot. So either one of you start.
Even though Matt started before I did, I like to actually begin. And reason being is I met the owners when they first started, and it was right before the pandemic hit. So it says a lot about their dedication, their work ethic, and really their commitment to being successful at this business, that they survived the pandemic where a lot of restaurants didn't. And not only did they survive, I would say flourish is probably the most appropriate terminology. Here we're on the verge of opening store number 15. And the way my opportunity created itself was, I would say, pretty natural. It was becoming friends with the owners and frequenting the restaurant and learning a little bit of how they operated as a customer and enjoying the food and embracing the story of his family. And it was through the potential and invitation of becoming an owner that I actually turned down due to a lack of experience in the restaurant industry and food. And it turned into an opportunity to join the corporate team. And I joined, came on board in September of this year. And in that time frame, here we are 3 months later and 4 stores later and a lot more, moving forward. My background's a little diverse, but it's primarily in fitness and healthcare. So it's kind of a unique thing to go and transition so extremely different to go and talk about tacos every day. And I couldn't be happier. My background includes working for major corporate fitness facilities such as LA Fitness, 24 Hour Fitness, Bally's Total Fitness, which we don't see anymore. They've shut down since. I hate to age myself, but that's the truth. I've worked for healthcare companies, home health agencies, and most recently was a health mentor working for a behavioral health company here in Phoenix. And these things in my background, that are fitness based and healthcare based, really help shape my work ethic to what I do today. And I put a lot of passion into what I do, and I feel like I've become somebody who is putting the company first and foremost. And I kind of feel like when I met Matt, that Matt confirmed my decision to join the team. So I'm going to let Matt take the stage next and share about his background.
Yeah, mine's pretty straightforward. It's 40 years of being in the restaurant business, having done everything from, just being a simple pizza maker and a bar boy when I was younger, all the way up to being a West Coast operations director for another chain, another concept. And the funny thing was my chance meeting with both the owners of the Taco Spot was almost, if you want to consider it, fate, because I wasn't even supposed to be working that day, and I was covering a shift for some of the managers and so forth, stuff like that, at another concept I was managing. And I saw the yellow Tesla with the Taco Spot all over it, right? And it was really funny because I just went over there and started talking to them. They came over and started talking to me, started showing me all of their social media and how many people they have following them, and the quality of the social media that they had out there, and their willingness to just go at it. They just want to throw every bit of caution to the wind and just go as fast as they can. And That was after being in this business for 40 years and seeing that, it was very, very enticing to me. And then at that point, we had gotten into a dialogue a few weeks later. And then in May of this year, I actually joined the team. And when I joined, there was only 5 restaurants. Now we have 14. We have another 13 just in Arizona alone that are under construction or under contract for a lease. We're branching out in a bunch of states. We have a development agreement for 111 stores in Texas. We just signed a development agreement with a group in Missouri that want to take over Illinois, Missouri, Tennessee, and Florida. And then some of the other franchisees that we're talking to, they currently want to have some development agreements in Georgia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and so forth. So we're definitely expanding. We're moving fast. And the great thing about it is, our concept allows for not only these giant development agreements with companies that make it very lucrative for them and for us at the same time, but it also allows for every mom and pop to jump into this and to be successful. That's the thing that we're most proud of, is that each one of the people that jumps into this thing, you don't have to take a second mortgage out on your house to get into this. It's very, very inexpensive compared to what our competitors are looking for your initial investments and so forth. And, when I first saw their actual numbers coming out of the stores, I was impressed after having been in this business for 40 years. So we're both really, really deeply enjoying what we're doing with this company. And most of it comes because of the way that the owners have taken us in as part of their family. We have a really good time with them. Coming into work every day is not a big deal. Even on our days off, we wish we were at work. So it's a very, very big testament to the culture and how things work in this company.
Well, before we get into the franchisees and how you can become a franchisee and the different things that you offer, I've got to ask, there are a lot of taco joints out there. What makes the taco spot unique, different, stand out, and compete and even flourish as you're doing?
I think the biggest thing that makes us different is that our recipes come from Jesus and Jorge, which are the owners, come from their family members, and it's basically based in Jalisco, Mexico. And they brought that old world taste, but then we mix in the modern flair for our different ramen and so forth, the way that we create things. And I would say that it's very simple. It's very straightforward, but at the same time, it's something that there's a lot of different companies out there trying to recreate different items and trying to do different things, but we just doing our own thing, and the path less chosen. Let's just put it that way.
And you've got some unique tacos, though, don't you?
Yeah, I would say that our Barria tacos and our surf and turf taco are quite unique.
I'm going to add. Go ahead.
In addition to the quality and the taste, like Matt mentioned, it's what drew me in at the beginning was how good the food was. We put a big emphasis and focus on the customer experience as well, from the look and feel of each store to the ingredients, to the presentation, to, even our branding on the cups, things that can seem very trivial and simple. We like to put a big emphasis on all of it. So it's not one thing, it's a list of things. So we really focus on all of it.
So you mentioned that you've got different contracts with different areas. I've got to ask, we're based here in Texas. So how soon before those Texas locations are opening?
About 30 to 45 days for the Arlington, Texas one.
Wow. All right. We'll be looking forward to that. Tell us a little bit.
Our understanding is it's not far from your office, so I think we'll hopefully see each other really soon.
Well, that sounds great. Come on down. Bring tacos when you come, though.
As they said, maybe it's not necessarily in walking distance, but you get one of those little scooters and you'll be there.
There you go. There you go. Well, when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about franchises and how people can get involved and what services you offer. Will you guys stick around for just a bit?
Sure. Of course.
All right. We'll be right back with more. from the taco spot, Raul and Matt. And I've got to ask, if somebody is interested in owning a franchise with the taco spot, how do you go about doing that? What all is involved?
Well, generally what you can do is you can go to the website, and then there's a spot on there, there's a tab for franchise, and then there's an application that you can put in. And it's really quick. It's just your name, phone number, email, stuff like that. Then from that point, I contact them. We go through the vetting process. We take a look at, what their viability is, what their experience level is, and so forth. And then from that point, we just move on with our, the legal documentation, so forth, to get them open.
Now, you said I don't have to take out a second mortgage on my house. So what's the cost in?
Well, in our documentation, we put it's about $177,000 to $250,000. In that price range, depending. But we've had some that have done it for a little bit more. We've had some that have actually, a lot of them have done it for a lot less. So we pride ourselves on being minimum half of the initial investment that any other franchise in our segment is doing. Obviously when people look at it, something like, say the big legacies like Taco Bell and so forth, this is 1.2 to 300 or $3 million to open one of those facilities. Whereas for ours, if you're into it with at 200,000, including franchise fees and incidental fees that you funds you put off to the side after you've opened, for marketing and so forth, labor, food costs, everything else, it's a no-brainer, and that's why a lot of people are able to get into this, and we want them to. We don't want this to be one of those scenarios where only the big people with a lot of money can get into something, or you have to go into a second mortgage or go to an SBA loan. We want to make this to where everybody can get into it and everybody can succeed, because we want you to be in the profitability as fast as possible. And by having us have everything that we do very, very low, it allows you to not only get open a lot faster, but at the same time make profit a lot faster.
So as far as training, do you offer any sort of training for franchisees?
Absolutely. We do it to where 2 weeks before you open, we want your managers and the owners and so forth to come out to our Mesa location, and you'll train there for the week. And then a week before you open, we come out and we continue training your managers and owners and your staff. And then afterwards, we're there a week afterwards to make sure that we kind of maintain that visibility. And then we still, between Raul, myself, the owners, our training team, we're always staying in contact with all the franchisees. We're always making sure that we're giving them the support, whether we have to come out. Raul has an interesting scenario. He's the boots on the ground. He's the guy that gets out there and he is going from place to place, and he's setting things up for you to make sure that you are successful. So he can explain a lot more about that part of it as far as the marketing part of it's concerned.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Raul.
I shift my efforts to make them very community-based, since knowing that the success of each store is going to be based on the community that they're in. So the idea of going through local apartment complexes, local high schools, and other businesses to really get them to embrace what the taco spot is doing in their community. And so far, it's gone over amazingly well. I mean, we've been very well received. And it's even surprising how people have come seems like out of nowhere. Hey, we heard about you guys and we want to get involved in some capacity. So it's been great. I'm very excited to continue moving forward, but it's been a pleasant surprise with how well, when we go to talk to somebody, they're very willing to, at least listen, but even more so want to get involved with something we're doing.
Now, Raul, tell me if this is true or not. I believe I read somewhere that you were a customer before you came involved with the team at the taco spot. Does that give you a little bit of a different insight to be able to tell people?
I would say absolutely. And the reason being is when I first met the owner, it literally took 3 attempts to try it. They were closed. There was a handwritten sign on the door saying, "Sorry, we're out of food." The first time I understood, the pandemic had just hit, so I didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what to expect. The second time I went, it was a Saturday afternoon, and I'll be honest, I was upset. I was hangry. It was well recommended, and I was excited to try it. So I figured Saturday they're going to be open at 3 p.m., right? Nope. There was a guy on a ladder, and he's putting something up on the building, and I'm asking him, who the hell owns this place? I mean, this is my second time. And he comes down and smiles almost shyly and says, "Hi, my name is George. I'm the owner." And I said, "Oh," I go, "I apologize. What's the deal?" And he says, "COVID." So I asked him if it was, if he had employees that were sick. And he says, "No, it's not that. It's just with regards to delivery, they don't want to come out more than once." He mentioned he even offered to pay them a delivery fee and go pick up, and they didn't want him to come to the factory. And the place was tiny. It was almost like an old storage. Well, I shouldn't say it was almost. It was an old storage for the business next to it, which was his brother's barbershop, and he turned it into the taco spot. Needless to say, he invited me to come back, and we exchanged numbers, and we got to know each other, and I got to hear about his family. And at the time, I was working for a home health agency, recruiting and hiring nurses and then placing them to work inside of residences for special needs kids. And I understood George shared that he had a little sister that was a special needs little girl, that they had a nurse that came to their house every day. So we started talking about it, and I found out it wasn't our company, it was a competitor, but a reputable company. And I shared some feedback with him, and he shared it with his mom, and mom said, "Tell that guy thank you." And I would say we developed a friendship, but every time I went, good or bad, I gave him feedback. I'd say, "Hey, this was awesome," or, "Hey, as a customer, this is what I thought." And it wasn't always positive, but it was always what I considered areas of opportunity. And I found out 4 years later, as we're discussing my role in potentially becoming a part of the team, that a lot of the advice I gave him, he ran with. And I didn't know that. He didn't tell me, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do what you said." Sometimes it was really asking him, "Hey, have you ever thought of doing this? This is what I envision," but I didn't know how that would go over. I actually bounced it off him to see what he would say, and he would say, "Oh, maybe we'll try it sometime." And he ran with a lot of these ideas, and the ideas weren't restaurant based; they were just based on business and looking at bottom lines. And it removed the personal aspect of it, which I wasn't involved in. So they made it really easy for me to give him that feedback. But he was very receptive, and that's what I've learned as I've gotten to know him better, that he's receptive to ideas that aren't his own. He's receptive to ideas that could help improve his processes. That's one of the things that me and him talked about at the beginning, was you have to make your process to where you can be efficient. People don't want to wait for your food. I've been here. I know what I'm going to get. I know what's coming out of the kitchen, so I'll wait. But the guy next to me has never been here. He may not wait. And that's something he took to heart in trying to make his process better. The store owner from Texas, who's about to open, he came through and did the training here in the kitchen. And after the third day, I sat with him and his general manager and asked him what his opinion was of that process. And they looked at each other and he says, "It's funny that you ask us that, because it's a lot easier than we thought." And that's part of the goal, is to simplify that process to get the food out to people quicker. And it's also how I learned the terminology of what they classify us as fast casual, which, if I get to choose between fast food and fast casual, I didn't know what fast casual was, but it sounded better. But that's what they place us in, because it's not necessarily fast food. It's, quality ingredients that are made to order, and there's no waiting. There's no waitresses or waiters. So it's, you order either there or on the phone or online and pick up your order, and there's tables so you can eat there, but you can also take it home. So a lot of our business is takeout and online, but it really kind of encompasses who George is, and his brother as well. I don't mean to not include him. Jesus is just as critical to the operation, as in the beginning, he was cutting hair to cover payroll for George's staff at the taco stand. And that's how they basically combined and started. And here we are 14 stores later, and now with a corporate office and expanding into multiple states.
It sounds like that the two of them have found their passion, and possibly the two of you have found your passion working with them. So if folks are interested in finding out more about the taco spot, or maybe even they're interested in becoming a franchisee, an owner, how do they do that? How do they find out more?
They can actually go to our website. There's a franchise tab there. There's also locations tab there, and there's a lot of information about the restaurant concept there. And we can walk them through everything that they want to know. And, everything that we do here is geared toward their success. And that's the thing that really makes a difference to me, having been in this business for 40 years. And when you hear about things like George, when he had a truck payment, that he forgoes his truck payments to do marketing for his own business. And 3 months later, when they're repoing the truck, he's not surprised, because he's like, if this is going to further my business and it's going to further the lives of other people, by all means, okay, I guess I lose a truck. So that was really, it was funny, but impressive to me at the same time.
Yeah. Raul, Matt, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. And best of luck with the taco spot. And we look forward to having it in Texas soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me today for BizTV's Create, Build, Manage.
Episodes of Create, Build, Manage are available on demand on the free BizTV streaming app. Visit watch.biztv.com and get BizTV programming anytime, anywhere.
Stay tuned to BizTV for more stories that educate, enlighten, and empower.